Good morning to everybody on the dais, distinguished leaders, policymakers, and impact makers, and all the distinguished leaders off the stage. Very good morning to all of you. At the outset, I would like to thank Dr. Ravi Gupta and his team comprising 22 bright young individuals who have put this event together. Thank you so much. And all the members who are working on the side, thank you so much for making it happen. I am extremely happy and privileged. I feel actually overwhelmed that you have given us some space and time to reveal this book. And I couldn't have had it better than having all of you actually launch this book. Thank you so much, sir. Let me go to the book, or let me go inside the book. It is called Divisima Business Fables. Divisima is an imaginary land. It's a fictional land where there are animals talking to one another. They're trying to solve some problems. They're trying to deal something in, and then through the characters of animals, you have some lessons that can be drawn. So it is meant for students who are aged 8 to 14. It is meant for school children. But then let me tell one small story and then close it here. Okay, sir. There's an old owl in the forest of Divisima, and from a distance, like from a stage like this, the old owl looks at young birds congregated at one place under a tree, say a banyan tree, and those young birds are talking to one another, saying, "I am the strongest." The other one says, "I have a great color." The third one says, "I can fly very high." The fourth one says, "I can fly very long duration." So slowly, the old owl actually goes towards the tree and talks to the young birds and says, "Each one of us have our own strengths. Like parrot has a color, eagle has strength, hummingbird has got focus, peacock has got grace. Likewise, each one of us have our own individual strengths. Each one of our own schools and universities, the way we have our individual strengths. Some of us are good at attracting students, large number of students. Some of us are very good at research. Some of us are very good at employment. Some of us are very good at various other skills that are useful to the country, so on and so forth." So the old owl says, it is not in the individual strengths that we need to rejoice. We need to work together. And how do we work together? The old owl points towards the sky. And there are birds flying in the sky. And those birds are flying in a V shape. So the lesson that the old owl tells or teaches the young birds is that, see, they are flying very high. And the leader bird is actually flying like this. And at the tip of the flap of the wing, you have what is called upwash, the aerodynamics logic that I want to remove the jargon. When there is a flap here, when the wings are flapped like this, there is a movement of upward current of air. And if there is a bird exactly here, exactly at the tip of the wing, if a bird is flying, that bird would have less burden to actually fly. That bird is actually lifted. Similarly, the bird next to those two birds will also enjoy the lift. So the burden is reduced. So the leader bird would lead for some time and then take turns. Another bird would go and lead. Then the third one would lead and fourth one would lead. So there is leadership in turns. It's not that there is a single person who is leading and the burden is borne by only one person. The burden is shared. The leadership responsibility is shared across all the individuals. So the story there is, you learn leadership, you learn teamwork, and you also learn communication. There is air resistance that is addressed. There is understanding and empathy across all. And then you are able to see everyone in that V shape. If you are one behind the other, you won't be able to see all of you, all of your team members. But if you're in a V shape, you probably end up all the time looking at all all members of the team. So that's a fantastic thing. So stories like this are extremely important. It is very well connected to India, Indian ethos. Right from Gurukul to NEP, we have to celebrate our Indian ethos, and they are on storytelling and telling everyone that we need to celebrate and build on our strengths. If our strength is demographics, we need to build on it. If our strength is diversity, we need to build on it. Morning I was reading one Facebook post a friend has posted. He says, make friendship with people who are not of your age. Hang out with people who don't look like you. Have chai or breakfast with people who don't speak your language. So this is diversity, and the Facebook post says, this is how you know the world and this is how you grow. But I would say that this is how you know India and this is how you would grow. I think India has the potential to teach us, if we look into the deep lessons that it can give us, and then celebrate on that and work on it, it will be great. So this book is talking about priming youngsters pretty early in their school, because we teach them maths, we teach them physics, we teach them various other subjects. Not that everyone would graduate to become a mathematician or a politician when they study history or civics, but they are grounded in the basic sciences, in the basic languages, and so on and so forth. I am not talking about Dr. Ravi Gupta. The basic grounding is given to you at IIT Kanpur. Similarly, why don't we give the basic grounding of business? It is not that you will learn in higher classes. In some physics lessons in 4th class, 5th class, we have said, a chapter is given up to some point and then later said, you will learn it in higher classes. It's not like that. Business lessons or little bit about business can be taught in the school level also pretty early. This is for 8 to 14 as I mentioned. And we got good reviews so far, sir. We have sold about 2,000 copies. So that's not big, but for me 2,000 copies is big, because slowly and steadily we are getting the feedback and they are liking it, and people are introducing that in the school. Various classes are actually able to do some exercises based on each of these 17 chapters, 17 lessons. So here the ability to solve problem is one. The other one is the ability to find the problem. Problem finding is a pretty important thing. Dr. Bhaskar has mentioned that we are very good at solving problems, but are we good at finding problems? Problem finding, problem solving, entrepreneurial thinking, sir, as you mentioned, that mindset to give back to society. In this country, if 3 problems are there, not just in this country, around the world, probably the problems are climate change, inequality, poverty, then lack of enterprise. So if we have to solve all these problems, we need to completely harness the power that India has given to us in terms of people and catch them pretty young, so that they are all oriented towards problem solving, problem finding, critical thinking, empathy, leadership, so on and so forth. It is not instructional in this book. These are stories, and these stories you read and you will make out yourself that these are the lessons. So if you make them sit down and teach them and instruct them, they will not learn. But if you tell the stories through animals, for example, they wanted to solve a logistics problem. They identified kangaroos to carry small birds, perishable goods, from here to cross the lake and deliver. So a logistic solution is arrived at by looking at kangaroos. The kangaroo's pouch has been used. Likewise, there is a problem of honeybees, how it is solved. And majority of the stories that you find will be addressing one of these issues, where you can think very reflectively, think very differently, critical thinking, problem solving, defiance sometimes. People think very differently and therefore they are accepted in the group, not accepted in the group. All those story lessons are there for us to do. So these Divisima business fables is something which is very important, and we need to continue the storytelling part that our country has been fed on, and spread what is important, what is needed for our country currently to solve the problems, have critical thinking, and then grow them. So that's a humble attempt at working on some of these factors. Thank you so much for this opportunity. I want to thank everyone for your patient listening. Thank you.